This was our trip to New York. Day 1. After a very turbulent flight, we finally arrived at 6 a.m. in the morning. Our first stop was the 9/11 Museum. This was a crazy experience. The first thing you see is a giant metal structure that remains from the building. It's amazing to think that it remains so solid and so strong. The rest of the exhibition was pretty specific. We did not get footage of it, but there was a lot of graphic images and videos of that day. There were also old fire trucks and even clothing items from the people who were inside the Twin Towers at the time. This really opened my eyes and made me realize the magnitude of terror these people were going through. We then headed to the outside of the memorial. We wandered around the streets of New York and we stumbled upon the World Trade Center. And we took a couple of pictures. One thing about New York is that there's a lot of churches and cemeteries in between skyscrapers. The first one we found was St. Paul's Chapel of Trinity, which looked really cool and very eerie. We were now on our journey to find the Charging Bull, and we stumbled upon these gems on the way. We arrived to the Charging Bull, where we lined up to take pictures. Little did we know though, there was a longer line to take a picture with the back side of the bull. We were told it was good luck to touch it, so we did. But Matt was way more excited about seeing a giant inflatable sewer rat.
Take a picture of me, a sewer rat.
Yeah. Right in front of the Charging Bull was Battery Park. Our plan was to come visit the park the next day, but everything seemed so close to each other, we just decided to take a look. There was also this really cool museum, however, we only used it to sit and rest on the reading area. By this point, we were so tired after all the walking and the red-eye flights that we headed to the hotel and knocked out. Day 2. We headed out early back to Battery Park to catch a ferry to the Statue of Liberty. I was afraid I'll get really bad motion sickness and just end up throwing up, so I stood up most of the trip, which I actually really enjoyed. The view was way nicer. We got off the ferry and lo and behold, there she was, the elegant, the poised Miss Statue of Liberty. We took a couple of pictures with the statue and enjoyed the view from the island. We also ran into a replica of Miss Liberty's face and the 1980s version of the torch. The ferry's next stop was Ellis Island. We were able to explore their museum, which was once a center of immigration for immigrants who were coming into the US, and this is where they either got accepted or denied and tested. And we then arrived back on the mainland and headed out to Chelsea Market to grab a bite to eat. This is one of my favorite places in New York. I don't know why, but it just is. We also saw the infamous Roxy Hotel with the cool clock. We knew we wanted to experience some of the nightlife in New York, so we headed to the Igloo Bar. This rooftop lounge was high enough that you can see the Flatiron Building and the Empire State Building surrounding us. Times Square was next on the list, and let me tell you, we got played. The street performers promised the audience they'd jump over 5 people, and they ended up jumping over like 1 person, so, you know. Day 3. This was our shortest day. After walking miles and miles, we decided to sleep in a little later. We headed to Manhattan to walk around Central Park, but really, just for the lobster rolls. The Plaza Inn has this really cool place called Luke's Lobster Rolls, and they're so good, especially if you put some sriracha on top. Oh my gosh, you guys need to try them. They're delicious. Matt really wanted to see the John Lennon Memorial at Central Park, so we took a couple of pics by there. We also walked around Central Park. We saw all the really nice views, the bridges, everything. We realized the sun was going down, so we hurried and took the next subway to the Vessel. Then to Grand Central Station. Then to the Rockefeller Center. Day 4. This was our last full day. I had seen somewhere on Instagram that there was this really cool art exhibition called Art Tech House back in Chelsea Market. And man, it did not disappoint. The visuals were so cool and the pictures we got looked so futuristic. Matt really wanted to go to Dumbo to see the infamous bridge with the buildings parallel to it. It was a nice surprise to see that there was a park at the end of the street. That night, we both saw our first Broadway musical in New York. We got to sit front and center for the show Chicago, where Jessica Lange, the lead actress, threw 4 roses at the end of the show, and I caught one of them. Day 5, we visited the Stardust Diner and headed back home safely. I wasn't able to get much footage out of this day, but I hope you enjoyed this travel video. Don't forget to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed. Have a great day!